Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us today. I wanted to continue with the fifth canto. I wanted to seek everybody's good wishes and blessings so that we can dive into the nectar of this wonderful fifth canto now of the Srimad Bhagavatam Puran. I wanted to seek the blessings of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada so that we can please Radha and Krishna by gaining a little bit more knowledge about Vedic culture and Sanatana Dharma, very important, so that we can become a little bit more detached from this world and a little bit more attached to the spiritual world. She's not there today. Kaushalya. Okay.
You want to leave it?
We can have a very quick look at this because the question that was asked was the life of a Manu. And this is the lifespan of a Manu, 306 billion years. And we were discussing how, Priyavrat was ruling the planet for 1.1 million years. So this is how it fits in. His 1 million years compared to 306 of a Manu. And 3 of his sons were Manus. So you can see that this is a powerful soul, Priyavrata. Okay, let's recite this verse, 22nd verse of chapter 2, 5th canto. Agnidro Rajapita Kamanam Apsararasam Evanudinam Adimanyamanas Tasya Salokatam Shrutibhir Avarundayatro Pitaro Madayante.
After Purvachiti's departure, King Agnidhara, his lusty desires not at all satisfied, always thought of her. Therefore, in accordance with the Vedic indication, the king after his death was promoted to the same planet as his celestial wife. The planet, which is called Prithviloka, is where the Pitas, the forefathers, live in great delight.
Good. Thank you so much, Riyansh. So this Agnidra is actually the son of Priyavrata. He had many children, and one of them was Agnidra. So we'll talk about him in this next chapter. It's a short chapter, and it discusses his life in summary, and it's interesting. Let's have a look. The activities of Maharaj Agnidhara. Purvachiti descends. So after his father Maharaj Priyavrata departed to follow the path of spiritual life by undergoing austerities. If you recall, he was king for a long time, and then he regained his senses and decided to completely immerse himself in God consciousness. So when he retired, Agnidra ruled the world in the valley of Mandara Hill. King Agnidra once worshipped Lord Brahma by performing severe austerity in order to get a wife. So this was his purpose. He did severe austerities. And Lord Brahma, he answered the prayer. He selected Purvachiti, the best of the dancing girls in his assembly, and sent her to the king. So he fulfilled the desire of Purvachiti, Agnidra. And she came on the planet, and she subdued Agnidra by her beauty, enchanted him by her loveliness, and they fell in love with each other. Agnidra praised her beauty and completely surrenders to her. Attracted by Agnidra's qualities, Purvachiti enjoyed with him for thousands of years. They had 9 sons. And these 9 sons are interesting. Nabhi, we'll talk a lot more about him in a little while. Kim Purusha, Harivasha, Lilavrita, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrasva, Ketumala. Sorry? Sure, but it's elaborate. For example, is one of the names of the islands. So interesting. So 9 islands maybe. And after they grew up, she left him and returned to Brahma. So this is generally what happens with the celestial ladies. They go back to the heavens or beyond. She came from Brahmalok, so she went back. The sons of Agnidra then ruled the kingdoms in different parts of Jambudvip. Yeah, so that's it. So it's 9 islands. They took each island. And we'll talk about these 9 islands in chapter 16 or 17 onwards. Agnidra, however, his senses unsatisfied, was always thinking of his celestial wife. And therefore, in his next life, he was born in her celestial planet, Prithulok. Agnidra desired to go to Prithulok. Although he is a son of a Vaishnava, Priyavrata, this is because he was born when Priyavrata was infatuated by lusty desires. So this is very interesting how, where the consciousness of the mother and the father when they are conceiving a child is very important. As you can see here, the consciousness of Priyavrata was somewhat infatuated by lusty desires, even though he was a pure devotee, but he'd been a king for a long time. So material nature has an impact. And at that time was born Agnidra. So he was not a pure devotee of the Lord. And how do we know that? Because he worshipped Brahma for a wife. So a pure devotee would first of all not worship Lord Brahma. He respects Lord Brahma, but the worship is exclusive for Krishna, Vishnu. Even if one wants something from Vishnu, and we'll see that in shortly. Somebody wanted, King Nabhi wanted a son from Vishnu. So he worshipped Vishnu. Even that is not a pure devotee because he wants something. And we'll see that again. So are there any questions from this chapter? It's a short chapter, short and sweet. Okay. Chapter 3. Nice long verses here now. Okay. Yad yuha tava punar abhadra karta iha samahutas tatrata diyam mandanam nastadya deva helanam deva devarhasi samyena sarvan pratibodham avidusham.
O Lord, you perform many wonderful activities. Our only aim was to acquire a son by performing this great sacrifice. Therefore, our intelligence is not very sharp. We are not experienced in ascertaining life's goal. By inviting you to this negligible sacrifice for some material motive, we have certainly committed a great offense at your lotus feet. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, please excuse our offense because of your causeless mercy and equal might.
So this is the priests who are praying to Lord Vishnu when he comes before King Nabhi to fulfill his desire of wanting a son. So even there, even though he wanted a son like Krishna, like Vishnu, still it was considered a material desire. Why was that a material desire? Can anybody answer that question? Why would that be a material desire?
Normally, a devotee has no desires.
Yeah.
So it's a material desire because he wanted a son. He should be free from any desires, devotee.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely there. If Yeah, but what if he wanted Krishna as his son?
Yeah.
Would that be
No,
able to?
no, Krishna was a Bhagwan. There can be only one Bhagwan. There
Yeah.
can't be more than one Krishna.
Yeah, true. And that's what he says. There's no, but you want someone like me, but there's no one like me. So you can have me. But see, what King Nabi was doing, he was saying he wanted a son like Krishna. He didn't necessarily want Krishna or Vishnu. And that's why it was a mature desire. If he had said, if his prayer was, I want you
as my son,
that's spiritual. That's not mature desire, because that is wanting the Lord. And that's what we want. We want him. So he wanted a son like him. So that became a mature desire. But nonetheless, Krishna is so kind, it's extraordinary. Vishnu is so kind. So let's have a look. Thank you for answering that question, Naliben.
Yeah.
So this chapter is entitled Rishabdev's appearance in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Nabi. Lord Vishnu appears. Maharaj Nabi was the first son of Agnidhara. Nabi was married to Meru Devi, but they had no children. Therefore, they both worshipped Lord Vishnu by performing a sacrifice. In the performance of a sacrifice, there are 7 transcendental means to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is worth sort of going through, because we do sacrifices all the time. The sacrifice of the holy name. By sacrificing valuable things or eatables. So what is a valuable thing that we are sacrificing by chanting the holy names? Anybody like to answer? What are we sacrificing by chanting the holy names of the Lord?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Our time, our energy.
Yeah. And our focus, our concentration, many things are being said, valuable things. Time is so valuable.
This human birth.
Yeah.
Our mind concentrating on Krishna.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a hard thing to do and such a big sacrifice. By acting in terms of place. So that's there's 2 types of places, right? External and internal. So our external place, we're chanting in a good way, but internally, we're chanting properly with focus and concentration. By acting in terms of time, this is again important when we're chanting. How? Anybody like to care to give us an answer?
Time means, is it morning chanting better? Early morning chanting better?
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
The modes.
Yes, that's right. Chanting when it's best for our consciousness to chant. So,
Shuddhatva.
best in the morning. But if somebody's a night person, for whatever reason,
Maybe he's working, maybe because of the work.
working, or maybe their parents were night people and they inherited the same quality, then chanting at night is fine. But ideally in the morning.
What I think, Prabhuji, is that if we are chanting anytime, let's say in the afternoon we are chanting, at that time you are leaving everything and you are concentrating on the Krishna at that particular time, even though it's not the most auspicious time for chanting, but you are on a transcendental platform at that time. So anytime we chant, you are on this platform. But
yeah,
Shastra says that best time of chanting is, as you say, early morning.
But you're spot on. If you as a person, it suits you better to chant in the afternoon, that's transcendental for you. That's absolutely fine. The scriptures give a guide, but it's only a guide. Yeah, it's only a guide.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, chanting in the morning is auspicious and you get more because your brain is very fresh and all that. But
Well, that's
then if you go to work and do other things, then you are more anxious, anxiety. So your concentration is not going to be. So as you say, the best time is when it suits you, when you can focus and have more concentration on Krishna.
That's right. So somebody who's not working, and perhaps they find it difficult to rise early.
Yeah, it's every individual's situation, I think.
They don't go to hell because they can't chant in the morning, but it's their time and circumstance to chant. That's the beauty of the holy name.
And I mean, if you plan that, say every day at 1 o'clock, I will chant from 1 till 3. That is your time with Krishna. So that is, you need to, it's planning your time with Krishna. It doesn't really matter whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon, as long as you have that specific time planned every day.
That space is there.
Yeah.
Your consciousness should be clear, isn't it? You shouldn't be thinking about other things like your work, or you have to do the cooking, so I have to finish my chanting quicker. That is not the state of the consciousness. You should be doing it in the way, full concentration. That's what I feel in any time of the day, even though, as you say, start early when it is absolutely fine, but some people cannot get up at 4 o'clock or cannot chant at 5 o'clock even.
Yeah, correct.
So this brings us to the quality, not the quantity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both important, but quality is far, far important.
Yes.
And once you get the quality right, the quantity automatically increases.
Yes.
It doesn't increase, then the quality is wrong anyway. Thank you.
But ideally, you will be chanting 24/7. So then
eventually you may catch up and you may feel that, yes, with you, once your quality improves, you may feel that, fine, let me start to get up a little bit earlier. So I think it will come at a later stage. I'm sure about it.
Yeah, definite. Krishna will help.
Yes.
By offering hymns. So, yes, prayers while we're chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Of course, you're listening to the Holy Name. That's the prime target of chanting. But occasionally we can say, my dear Lord, please engage me in your service. Please don't throw me away from your lotus feet. I feel so far away from you, my dear Lord. Please let me become close to you. These prayers, offering prayers, are very important. That's where you get the personal connection with Krishna. I feel so far away from you, my Lord. Please allow me in your association. By going through the priest, what does that mean? For us, for chanting.
Doesn't mean spiritual master.
Yeah, that's it. Very good, Nalini. The guru, the spiritual master. And
or Siksha Guru.
Siksha Guru, yeah.
Prabhupada is the Siksha Guru of the whole world. So, by offering gifts to the priests, what is that?
Dakshina.
Guru Dakshina. Yeah. And by observing the regulatory principles. So, if we chant whilst following the four regulatory principles, that chanting becomes even more potent. So it's interesting how his sacrifice, how Bhagavatam explains the 7 transcendental means to obtain the mercy. So we are following those as well once we're chanting. So it's universal, these 7 transcendental means. So it's very interesting. However, one cannot always obtain the Supreme Lord through this paraphernalia. Because there's 2 things involved. What are the 2 things from the Damodar Leela? Do we remember? 2 fingers short. What are those 2 things?
Our
Krishna's mercy and devotee's endeavor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done. Very good. Thank you, Rianj. How, nonetheless, the Lord, due to
What did he say? I didn't quite catch it.
Rianj, say that again.
Prabhuji, Krishna's mercy, and second is devotee's endeavor.
So
Yes.
we're doing the endeavor,
Thank you.
and it's up to the Lord if he gives his mercy.
Quick on that, huh? Riyash, quick on that.
He's fast.
Very fast.
Nonetheless, the Lord, due to his affection for his devotees, appeared before King Nabi in his four-armed form. He was beautifully decorated with the helmet, earrings, bangles, belt, pearl necklaces, armlets, ankle bells, and jewels. He always comes in the most beautiful form. The priests glorify the Lord. Priests offer prayers. It's very rare, right? Very rare to have the Lord himself coming. Sometimes, usually he sends his representative with a pot of rice or something. You know? And this time the Lord himself came. Highly unusual. Realizing that the Lord does not need their worship, but kindly accepts the worship for his devotees' benefit. They prayed that they may not be able to remember his name, form, qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning. I can see all of you yawning, you guys. Or, or being in a miserable disease condition at the time of death. So they're saying, we might not be able to remember you because there might be a high fever, or we're yawning or stumbling, falling. So they're saying, please allow us to always remember you. They prayed for constant remembrance of his holy names, attributes, and activities. So this is a great prayer, a great prayer. Please, my dear Lord, let me never forget you. Whatever karmas I have done, I will suffer. Let it be, but let me not forget you. That is a really nice prayer. He likes that prayer. King Nabi desires a son. The priests introduce Maharaj Nabi, who is desirous of having a son like the Lord, even though the Lord could offer Nabi any exalted position, including elevation to the heavenly planets or liberation back to Godhead. So the point is, he could have said, take me out of this samsara, back home, back to Godhead. But he didn't have that desire. He wanted a son like the Lord. So that was a material desire. And that was actually foolishness in one sense. If the Lord is in front of you, what do you ask him?
Yeah. True.
It's like Dhruv Maharaj. He realized immediately, his 5-year-old boy, he realized, oh, my Lord, you're with me for me. I've been asking for broken glass and diamonds have appeared in front of me.
Yes, Prabhuji, Dhruv Maharaj said that in his Dhruva prayers that I am searching for the pieces of glasses, but you gave me a valuable diamond.
Very good.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, well done. You remember well. But Nabi, he saw the Lord and he still said, can I have a son like you? The priests apologized for asking the Lord to come before them to fulfill Nabi's desires. The reason they were feeling sorry was it was very rare to have the Lord's personal presence. Even for elevated sages, it's rare. What to speak of coming in the forum of King Nabi and the priests. So this is extraordinary. The Lord assured the priests that he was pleased with their truthful prayers. This is amazing. The Lord is so kind. Even they are asking for silly broken pieces of glass, the Lord still became very pleased with them. Because Nabi had prayed for a son like him, this is very difficult to achieve as there is no one like him. Therefore, the Lord declared that he will expand himself and appear as a son of King Nabi and his wife Meru Devi. Apart from fulfilling Nabi's desires, the Lord wanted to descend anyway he wanted to come, to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles within Varnashram Dharma. So Maharaj, the Lord Rishabdeva, wanted to appear anyway. This was just an excuse to come as a son of King Nabi. So that's the end of chapter 4. Any questions, any comments?
Chapter 3.
Oh, sorry, chapter 3, yeah, thank you. Anybody like to say anything or ask anything on chapter 3? Very interesting chapter. Nice prayers in there.
Prabhuji, you can go on. It is very interesting.
Oh, I love this guy. Huh? He's such an amazing fellow. And the way he says it as well, Rian, you're going to become you are a great devotee already. You're going to get even better. Yadyapi swaviditam sakala dharmam brahmam guyam brahmane darshita magena samadhi upaya janatam anusasasa.
Although Lord Rishabhdev knew everything about confidential Vedic knowledge, which includes information about all types of occupational duties, he still maintained himself as a Kshatriya, followed the instructions of the Brahmanas as they related to mind control, self-control, tolerance, and so forth. Thus he ruled the people according to the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which enjoins that the Brahmanas instruct the Kshatriyas and the Kshatriyas administer to the state through the Vaishyas and Shudras.
Very good. So this was what his mission was. He was showing how one can live one's life in this material world, fulfill one's occupational duties through the system of Varnashram, and perfect one's life in their proper positions. So the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishya, and the Shudras, they can all fit very nicely into this Varnashram system. So anyway, the chapter is entitled The Characteristics of Rishabhdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord appeared, manifesting all good qualities and signs of the Supreme Lord, both physically, so physically through the marks on the soles of his lotus feet, his hand, he was handsome as well, very beautiful, very pleasing, and psychologically. So how does what does that mean? He was equal to everyone. That's what the Lord is. He's equal to everyone. No enemies. Very peaceful, controlled senses and mind. No hankering for material enjoyment. He doesn't need material enjoyment. He's spiritual. Seeing these qualities, King Nabi named him Rishabh, best of the human beings or the supreme being. So his qualities were like that of the best of human beings. So he named him Rishabh and enthroned his son as king. So in fact, the sages, the Brahmins, they saw King Rishabhdev and his qualities, and they pleaded with King Nabi, you should make him the king now. So once Indra, the king of heaven, who is materially very opulent, became envious of King Nabi. Rishabhdev, sorry. Stopped pouring water on the earth. So this is Indra all over again, right? He has this psychology about him which can't stop him from becoming envious. At that time, by his own prowess, Rishabhdev profusely poured water upon earth. At that time, the earth was called Ajanaba. Ajnaba. And Ajnaba stands for being ruled by that's King Nabi and Rishabhdev, Nabha. After installing Rishabhdev as king, Nabi left with his wife for Badrikashram in the Himalayas to perform austerities. And in time, they were both elevated to Vaikuntha. So see the difference between Agnidra, who still remained in this world, Pitulok, with his celestial wife, But look at what happened to King Nabi and his wife. They went to Vaikuntha. They worshipped Vishnu. Adidra worshipped Brahma, stayed in this world. So,
Hare
Rishabdev.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
This the king you just mentioned, that is in chapter 2, I think.
Yeah.
So, but his wife left for the celestial plane, and then he was very sad.
Yeah, we've talked through that. That's
You
right.
missed-
Yes, but he was not with his wife in Pitrulok. He was alone.
No.
Or was
went to
No,
Pitrulok.
he joined her in Pitrulok. If you look at the chapter,
okay.
yeah. If you look at the chapter, he
Yeah.
ended up in Pitrulok.
Okay, yes. But because it mentioned somewhere that he was very sad because his wife left.
She left. She went to the place.
Oh, and then he went and joined her there. Okay. Thank
Exactly.
you.
After he passed.
He was too attached.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
thank
too
you.
beautiful. And that's the problem.
Yeah, like that. Just like Jayanti is too beautiful, you cannot part from her, right? You're always together.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
yeah, this Badrikashram place in Himalayas seems to be very religious, auspicious. Everybody goes there to perform the austerities. So far, what we have read so far.
That's right. You're right.
Is it same now as Badrik?
Same.
Badrinath. It's the same Badrinath, yeah.
Yeah,
Badrinath, yes, same Badrinath. Okay.
Because it's Nara and Narayan
Yeah.
there, and they're still present there.
They're still, yes.
Yasdev was there.
Vyas Gufa is still there. He's still there.
Phenomenal place.
Really? Vyaskupa is still there? Oh, wow.
Yeah, Vyas Gufa is there. We've been there. Yeah,
And news for you, Naniben, the last tea shop in Bharat.
yeah. Is stable.
The last tea shop. And of course, we can't have that tea, but
Definitely.
take pictures in front of it.
Yes.
Yes, really weird place. But this Badrika is worth visiting once in one's life.
Yeah. How was Vyasji's cave? Simple one?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like a cave?
They have a statue of Vyas there.
Yeah.
With Ganesh writing.
Very interesting. If we find the pictures, we'll share it with you.
Okay.
We
Thank
haven't. No, thank you. Thank you for the interest. You're right, but it's a very holy place. Very, very holy place. Okay. Lord Rishabdev with his wife Jayanti had 100 sons, of whom Bharat was the eldest, and he was an exalted personality. In his honor, this planet became named Bharatvarsh. So from Ajanaba, it came to be known as Bharatvarsh. Very interesting. He was such an exalted king. Amongst the sons, so the 100 sons, 9 of them were Navyogendras. They were exalted, advanced devotees. Not as advanced as Bharat. They were called Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Buddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa, and Kara Bhajan. It's good to chant these names actually because we try to seek their blessings. It's good to always say the names of the devotees, pure devotees. There were 10 Kshatriyas. So actually Rishabdev was a Kshatriya because he came as a king. He was born in a dynasty of kings. So that's a Kshatriya. But we can see that 9 of them, 9 plus, yes, only 10 were really Kshatriyas. The others became perfectly qualified Brahmins by their behavior, and 9 of them were devotees. So very interesting, very interesting. Okay. Rishabdev's rule, being an sorry?
That drives the point that you become Brahman not only by birth, but by your qualities that you develop.
Well done. You picked it up.
Yes.
You picked it up. Very good. That's a very good point, actually. Fundamental point. That it's by your actions and your behaviors that you are known, not by your birth. So although they were born as Kshatriyas, they actually acted like Brahmanas. Very good. Being an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishabhdev was. So these are the qualities, wonderful qualities. Fully independent, because his form was spiritual, eternal, and full of transcendental bliss. These qualities are important to remember because we're going to hear some extraordinary pastimes by Rishabhdev, which are very difficult to understand. So let's bear in mind all these qualities. Eternally had nothing to do with the four principles of material misery, birth, death, old age, and disease. Not materially attached. He was always equipoised and he saw everyone on the same level. He was unhappy to see others unhappy. This is really quality which is difficult to find in this world. People are usually happy when somebody's distressed. And because he was a well-wisher of all living entities, his perfect personality, but still he strictly followed the principles of Varnashram Dharma. By his example, showing how people could remain householders and at the same time become perfect by following the principles of Varnashram. So this was his mission. His mission was to show this process. He maintained himself as a Kshatriya and followed the instructions of the Brahmanas. So he was the Lord, Supreme Lord. He didn't have to follow anybody's instructions, but he showed how to live within the rules of Varnashram by following the instructions of the Brahmins. He performed 100 sacrifices. He satisfied the citizens so much that they did not desire anything from him. Once while touring the world, Lord Rishabhdev, the Supreme Lord, reached a place known as Brahmavarta, where he instructed his sons. Although they were already very well behaved, devoted and qualified, he instructed them so that in the future they could rule the world very perfectly. Thus he spoke as follows. So that's going to be chapter 5. We can talk about that tomorrow. And I was thinking we might only be, chapter 5 is such an important chapter. Our Guru Maharaj, especially the first verse, he would spend weeks and weeks on that first verse. Such an important verse. So if you don't get a chance to read the whole chapter, at least read one verse. Canto 5, chapter 5, verse number 1. Just that one verse can save one from the dirtiness of this world, the horrible nature of this world. And our Guru Maharaj stressed this many, many times. He gave this class on this verse, so I can't even, it's countless number of times. So he would quote that verse again and again and again because it's so important. So I think we probably want to spend one whole session on chapter 5 tomorrow. Such an important chapter. Any questions, any comments? Everybody happy?
Prabhuji,
Yes, Nani.
just this 100 sacrifices, any particular types of sacrifices or just, I wouldn't know, I don't know.
No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. It doesn't specify. They normally used to do horse sacrifices, and by doing that, the horse would be liberated himself, or at least attain the human form of life. So it's probably Ashwamedha. It's probably the Ashwamedha sacrifices. Which is what Indra gets very jealous of if somebody does 100, as he loses his place potentially.
Great person, Rishabhdev.
Yeah.
But this is all talking about the Satyug and all these people at that Prithvi Maharaj, now Rishabhdev, Prachetas, they're so sort of pious people, isn't it? Pious and without any any motives, just serving the people.
Generally, yeah.
Generally, yes.
Generally. But Maya is, material nature is material nature.
Mm.
If one has desires which are a little bit not aligned with the Lord, then those desires get fulfilled in Satya Yuga as well, very easily, like we saw King Vena,
Mm.
right, ruthless king.
This was the Satya Yuga. Does this happen in the Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga as well? The people, or they become a little bit more and more sort of towards impious activities?
Yeah, Satya Yuga, a quarter of one of the legs of religion
Yes. Yeah.
is broken, and then Dwapar Yuga, 2 legs are broken, and then Kali Yuga, there's only 1 leg. So slowly, people become religious. Hence why the duration of life reduces. So in that way, yeah, irreligion comes quite quickly.
Okay.
But even
Okay.
in we see, like we see the characteristics of Kali Yuga coming. Not Kali Yuga, sorry, but the sinful activities do come, not as strongly as in Kali Yuga, not as widespread as Kali Yuga. One individual who would be like King Vena was really, really terrible. But we also heard that there were loads of thieves at that time who stayed underground while he was the king. And as soon as he was killed by the sages, these thieves came out. It's not that there's no sin at all in Satya Yuga. There is. But the vast majority of people are, good-natured in Satogun.
Mm. Do we get this type of people in the Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga as well?
Sato Yuga people?
Yes, this type of pious, religious
Yeah.
people who are in all the yugas apart from the Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah, Brahmins are every yuga, absolutely. Only in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said everybody's a Shudra.
we got Chaitanya Prabhu, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Kali Yuga.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for asking. It's really good. Good questions. Okay, if we can go to the lessons and then the instructions. Okay, so let me find it. There you go. Oh, Indra Lekamaji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So far it's only one, right? Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Canto 4, lesson 1 so far. Due to the karmas, all living entities get different types of bodies for birth, death, and other activities which cannot be avoided. Thank you.
Okay.
Brilliant. So, yeah. Okay. Madhusudan Babu.
Jai, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Haribol. These are amazing chapters as well, because it involves so many different aspects. Like, for example, King Agnidhar is actually trying to perform mystic yoga and all that, but he gets distracted, and Prabhupada in the purport explains how, mystic, the yogis can try to control their senses and the mind and all that, and then he's trying to meditate with half eyes closed and all that. That's kind of explains in the 6 chapters, chapter 6 Bhagavad Gita as well, the Ashtanga yoga and meditation. But it's not very easy, whereas Prabhupada says the devotees can control, they're not allured or distracted by no matter what amount of beauty or anything that may try to distract them. But here the instructions are, chapter 1, 2, isn't it? Have we done?
Yeah.
So in this, so in connection with these flattering words, which were used by King Agnidhar, Srila Prabhupada is in the purport is instructing that when he's actually absorbed in lust and the influence of sex, one surrenders to the feet of the women without reservation. So Srila Madhvacharya remarks in this connection that when one engages in joking and talking like a crazy man, one may end up saying anything and everything, and the words can become meaningless sometimes. So it's got to be, be careful about start to use flattery words, It's like some chat up lines here, which you can learn. But it's interesting, how he gets distracted easily, and then also the mention of how Brahma sends this, what's her name? Yeah. And Prabhupada says, how actually there has been visitations like, from Apsaras, that may come to another planet. And when he says something like that, these Gandharvas, they used to just go for a stroll, in this part of the, like taking a walk in a nice park, But it's like another planet or something, which is like interplanetary travels and all that, which happens in that realm, which is sometimes difficult for us to comprehend. But when we start to see some glories, like, I was just watching a little bit about the Angkor Wat. It's in Cambodia. That temple is so amazing, They're finding out more and more about it, and just shows whether there were any visitations from other planets or demigods. We just don't understand, the civilizations that have come and gone on this planet, personalities that have come and gone and all this. Did you have the chapter 3 and 4 as well? I sent.
I didn't see that. Let me just check.
I can just read it out, because I think I sent it, but it might have been late.
Okay. No.
So I'll just read chapter 3 very quickly. So when the Supreme Lord appears or descends as an incarnation within this material world, he does not actually accept a body which is made of 3 modes of material nature, sattva gun, rajogun, or tamogun. So we should understand there's a difference between sattva gun and suddha sattva gun. Suddha sattva actually refers to the sattva gun which is never contaminated. So that's how Prabhupada explains that, when Rushabdev comes as a son, and like you quite clearly mentioned, that he wanted King Nabi, wanted a son like Vishnu, but not Vishnu as his son. So there's a subtle difference in his desire, and that kind of indicates that some devotees, like Yashoda Maya, they might have wanted Krishna as his son. So that's like a Vatsalya Bhav, which is one aspect of the bhakti and the bhav, ras. But this is a slightly different. So King Nabi had a slightly different kind of expectation or desire. And obviously, Lord Vishnu still doesn't come with the material gunas, still sattva gun, but Rishabdev is amazing qualities, and obviously there's a reason, because, there's the dharma. So chapter 4 actually starts to say that dharma cannot be made by man. So dharma to shakshat bhagavad paritam. Dharma is actually given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as the law is given by the state government. So like, gravity is being given by the Supreme Lord, we can't create gravity, or we can't take it away or manipulate it. It's just been given. So that's what Sanatana Dharma is, respecting whatever has been given by the Supreme Lord, and then using that. So when King Rishabdev's good government, under his good government, obviously everyone is very satisfied and they don't want anything. They're not asking for anything because everything is nicely provided. And that's what Prabhupada actually mentioned, that, it's the perfection of government. When government, if the citizens are unhappy due to bad government, it's actually the heads of government are condemned. So, times like these, when there isn't actually a government, there's a Kali Yuga, the Varnashram system is topsy-turvy anyway. There's nobody, it's like a headless chicken, running around. The governments have gone. There's nobody guiding the citizens of the world. So everybody is happy, But fortunately, we are here, Srimad Bhagavatam is our guide. Prabhupada is our, captain of the ship. Fortunately, we are in this boat of Lord Chaitanya. As if it's like Prabhupada said, if it's rainy, as long as you got an umbrella, then you're all right. So as long as Kali Yuga, the symptoms are there. But and also, when we were talking about chanting and thinking of Krishna, when Krishna uses the word smarat in the Bhagavad Gita, the smaranam is remembering Krishna. So we can remember Krishna anytime, any day, then that's the habit we have to get into. Just like, if you may remember someone a friend or someone you've loved, and then that you're remembering. So like that, if you remember Krishna says, just remember me. And that's what Prabhupada instructed, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So that's the habit, or that's the mood that we have to get into and remember. So chant anytime, remember Krishna anytime. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good. Oh, yes. So, Kaushalya, are you there? Kaushalya Maji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Good, Kaushalya. So, I was just sharing at the beginning how, remember we were talking about the lifespan of, or how long Priyavrat, he ruled 1.1 million years.
Yes, yes.
So, and we were talking about the Manus. So
that's right, yeah.
The life of one Manu. 306 million years. That's
my God.
Yeah.
So Manu is supposed to be before Satyuga?
No. He's part of it. For example,
part of it.
This is Satyug, Tretayug, Dwapayug, and Kali. Now, one of those Mahayugs, all four, is 4.3.
Yeah.
And there are 71 of those in one life of Manu.
Okay, got it, Prabhu, yes.
And if you look, 1.7 million is Satyayug. So Priyavrat would have ruled for 1.1 million of those years.
So that means all these 4 yugas times 71 is one Manu.
You got it.
Yes, Prabhu.
Well done. And Priyavrat had 3 Manus as his sons.
Okay, my God.
Powerful personality. Okay, so
thank you, Prabhu.
Oh, no problem. It's very interesting. Thank you for.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maraji.
Yes. If we try to tell an aunt that we live 100 years, what will be the reaction of the aunt?
Yeah.
That is our reaction when we think about these great personalities. So my question is, when the king retired to meditate in the forest, why did Brahma send the Apsara?
No. He went to pray for a son.
For a wife.
For a wife.
Oh, okay. Maybe I missed that bit because I was reading and I was thinking, why did Brahma have to disturb this person?
Yeah, Brahma, he's not like Indra. Indra would send.
Yes. Indra would send Cupid to disturb Narad Muni, and then Lord Shiva will ban him. Okay.
Yeah, no, he prayed for a wife.
Okay, thank you.
Brahma sent him the best one. He sent him the best dancing girl. And really, that's a curse, as we see, because he ended up in Pituluk.
Yeah.
Very good. So we can go to the Singha Kavach, and let's we need to pray